can find very easy different rhythm. Is for us our identity card. A Cuban people impressed with something that is very easy to do, just a guitar or a singer. Rumba, we can make danzón, is our national rhythm. Shangui in Guantanamo province is from north. So Shangui is just for all people very hard to do because of this is the fusion of Spanish musicians, African, finally Cuban musicians. So it could be due from people to come from French. So this make the fusion with different traditional musicians. Very good study. So this is the way to make the popular Cuban music. Nowadays, there are people. So Chucho Valdez, he's a great piano player. I know her daughter, Leyanis Valdez. He impressed me by the time we were together in Cayman Island. This is very easy to play piano with jazz, it's Latin jazz. So remember a music that his father had prepared is bacalao con pan. And bacalao con pan is a well-known. I remember when I was young, I heard the music, but impressed because it's very easy for us to pronounce the words, but the rhythm is just very, very Cuban. This is like our identity. He has studied why Cuban people speak so with temperament or ideas. This is very easy. It's like to pass a message. You simplify many rhythms, many words, so like bacalao con pan. This is so in our musicians were Santiago de Cuba is a very loud people, noisy people. There are the most recommended people to enjoy in carnival or party. Sun's party is made from in June, July, August. In summer, when the temperature is very hot, they are making a good celebration about the traditional identity Santiago de Cuba's music. This is very, very good place to enjoy the heart of Cuban people.
How does San Diego de Cuba compare with Havana? the music in Havana.
So it's very good question because of nowadays Havana is the capital of Cuba, but years before, many years, Santiago de Cuba was the capital of Cuba. So the people are very spontaneous, walking around the street with guitars. Musicians make impromptu at the street. So there are really impressed people because of this, the identity of Santiago de Cuba people. Nowadays in Havana, there are many successful musicians that come before from Santiago. It was a great band. His name was Irakere. Chucho Valdez had made his work as piano player. There had played a good work in Irakere, but when he finished his work in Irakere, he had invited the real Latin jazz. In Santiago, we can find another team. So, Secteto Santiaguero is well known around the world because of they are making the real Cuban music. So around the street you can find. So it's impressed because of several tourists come to Cuba and had a little uncomfortable because of they are so loud and they are living loud. It's a loud people. It's a noisy place. Your room is so you are in the traditional popular center because of you can't sleep in Santiago de Cuba. It's Latin jazz, son, salsa, rumba, and many others. This is 21 different rhythms. You will enjoy, and you will say me.
Do you think Cubans think their music is the best music in the world?
For Cuban people, we are very proud about our music. Of course, there are several places, so musicians, so classic musician, opera. When you say you can compare, we can do it because reggae is good, or classic music, guitar player, electrical, country, house. Amazing, upstanding, but for Cubans, it's the best.
Is there any connection between the revolution and music? Has the music changed since what, 1958?
So during the time, something is changed, but this is normal because of dancing and danzonete were the first national rhythm. But nowadays there are another traditions, another popular music that young people really good like. But it's not do the revolution, is to the time. It's during the time. By the time our grandfathers have dance on, and nowadays the people dance casino. This is our identity nowadays.
That's what I was going to ask you about the young people. Are they still holding on to traditional Cuban music, or they all go hip hop and American music takes over? What's the effect?
Yeah, I know a guy. He is very good singer. Is a very good musician. He has studied medicine here in Cuba, but his name is Imafun. He has made a fusion between American rhythm and Cuban music. Oh, he's very young. He's very clever. He has talent. He has successful. He live in the United States by the time, and he impressed Cuban people, young people, old people, and he's very talented guy because of he has made a fusion between American rhythm and Cuban rhythm. And of course, there is identity from Spain, Africa, and others wars. So we can make music because with our knowledge, with our authenticity. It's not only like a copy, but Cuban people have this talent to do.
Now, I notice, even though I'm a Canadian, I notice that Spanish music, because of the large Spanish population in the United States, is becoming more and more popular in the United States. Is the American Spanish music similar to the Cuban music? Is it the same thing, or is it different?
No, it's very, very different.
Could you explain that in a sentence?
In sentences like our popular music is based in different rhythm, different notes, like in pranto and syncopa. This is not like a European rhythm. It's not like a traditional Spanish rhythm. It's based in another party like cowboys, Cuban cowboys, like slave in the before revolution, before the colonization. It was like I mentioned with like a shuffle Indian music, Taínos music, Siboneyes music, slave music, Spanish, French, but nowadays we have school around the world that some people making a piano with another. So you are walking around the world, and when you hear Cuban music, you say, hey, this is a Cuban rhythm. Around the world, this is like identity Cuban around the world. This is like a Chucho Valdez, his father Bebo Valdez making professional music with Cuban identity. This is the school, Cuban school. Arturo Sandoval.
Have Cuban musicians played in Russia? And if so, what is the reaction of Russians to Cuban music?
So, in Russia, there are many musicians, Cuban musicians, but Cuban people is around the world, all the plenty countries. In Lebanon, you can find Cuban musicians. In Spain, several. In United States, in Cayman Island, in the Caribbean, like a pirate. Musicians of the Caribbean. So, India, Russia, London, French, in German. In Germany, there are plenty Cuban musicians. This is a history. Here comes a lady from Germany, Deutschland. He was looking for very special rhythm, changui. But in Havana, there are professional bands that make a fusion with. So she find a guy with a professional band. After some numbers, they say, "Oh, you are very good. You are very professional, but not what I'm looking for." Say, if you are looking for the essence of Cuban music about changui, you have to travel to Guantanamo. Look for Los Viejos. And then finally she find it, the group, very professional group. And nowadays, thanks this lady, the world, entire world knows the changui rhythm. This is what it's doing his work very good. She traveled from Havana to Guantanamo to find it, and she did it.
One last question, Alexander. I have traveled a little in Cuba. Everywhere I turn, there's music everywhere. Why are Cubans so good at dancing and music? Is it something in the water they drink, or is it, what is the magic of Cuba, in your opinion?
So, in my opinion, the Cuban people is our idiosyncrasy, our traditions, our thinking is like a museum. So when we are walking down the street, you can stop and find a guy selling something with music. For example, maní, the cucuruchito de maní, or many others, fruits, or something to eat, or something to buy something, to get an idea, not only in here, in Camagüey, in Havana, in Santiago. The people who is professional selling at the street is with music. This is what Cuban people make. And then in our schools, there are plenty professors teaching the young guy about the professional music, but the identity from Cuba.